Okay, this video is me venting just a tiny bit. So first I want to say to my personal audience, I love you, and I would never say this about you. I know you're here because you appreciate the hard work, the talent, and quality, and everything I'm putting in to my content. I know that. Now, I want to talk to the old school tabletop role-playing game audience. Now, I want to say that I know a good portion of you appreciate talent, quality, you're entertained by it, you appreciate effort, you appreciate wisdom. You don't want to just hear what it says in the book. You expect somebody to understand things, tell you things that it doesn't just say in the book. You have a good, high expectation of people doing content on YouTube. I acknowledge you. I know you're out there. Actually, I'm always trying to attract you to my channel, and I've attracted some of you to my channel. Now, the venting part. There is a large portion of the old school tabletop role-playing game audience that as a content creator, I can be disappointed by. I put effort. I really do. I'm putting my best foot forward. I give you statements, ideas and opinions you can't just get in the books. I give you wisdom, where it doesn't just state something in a book. I'm telling you what I understand. The book doesn't even clarify it, and I'm telling you I get it. I do my research, see what designers say. I put a lot of effort forward, and guess what? I'll get off the part of the audience I've already talked about. I'll get some good feedback, a little bit, right? But there's a large portion of that audience that, because I'm not saying exactly what they know or exactly what they agree with, and they're not just nodding along, no, they don't appreciate any effort, any talent, any wisdom, any knowledge whatsoever. And I'll be out-competed by a guy who could pick up the AD&D, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, first edition, whatever book, Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master Guide. They could flip it open. I swear they could do this, and they'll just outscore me on this. They'll read 2 pages randomly. Doesn't even matter what pages. Read this, word for word. Read the next page, word for word. End the video. And they'll get more views and more likes than the content I'm making with effort, wisdom, research. Everything I'm doing will mean nothing. This guy will get on, he'll have no talent. The quality of the content will be 0. He'll read 2 pages. A good portion of the old school audience will nod along. Yeah, we agree with that. Like, watch. And that is the type of stuff I'll compete with if I'm trying to serve that audience. And you know what? It's on them. If they don't like somebody pointing that out about them, about that part of the audience, well, I would tell them, have higher standards. Don't just like content that you agree with. Be willing to check out something of quality with talent that could entertain you. You're not even really entertained by the audience, but you're giving, or by the content that you're viewing en masse, and you're liking that. Then there are some old school tabletop role-playing game content creators that will watch my streams. They'll watch my streams. They'll be inspired by what I say in my streams. They won't give me a like. They'll go on to their own streams or their own videos. They'll talk about the stuff I talked about that I inspired them on, and they won't acknowledge me at all. Even funnier, they'll act like everything they're saying wasn't inspired by somebody. It's them being original and coming up with what they're saying. And then there is wisdom I'll give out here about Dungeons and Dragons, the old school wisdom I know that's just not casually stated by other content creators. You will not find it in the history of their content where they even understand this stuff or say it. I'll say it, and then suddenly, only after I said it, and I know they watch the streams, they listen to me say it, They go onto their streams and their content, and they'll say the same thing as if it was their wisdom. Like as if they thought it up. But until I said it, you won't find anything in their content. If you go into the history of their content, they don't say this stuff at all. There's no point where they said it beforehand, but they listen to me, and now suddenly, it's not that they heard me say it, it's them saying, I've always known this. No, you haven't always known that. You had to hear me point it out to you. You were in the hobby for decades, playing Dungeons and Dragons, and you simply didn't realize some of the stuff that I pointed out to you. But now, all of a sudden, you knew it the entire time. Yet, where is it in your content? Where is it? And actually, if you go back into the content of these guys, you'll find they're saying the alternative to what I'm saying. They're saying, oh yeah, action is important, this is important, where I'm like, well, my thoughts on this are counter to that. So if you really knew this and thought it the entire time, why would you have the alternative view? You wouldn't. You would have been aware of this the entire time. But nowhere in your content can you find it until you hear me say it. How convenient. Right? You won't acknowledge me, but hey, if it gets you some more likes, right, some more views, of course, I get the game. Suddenly, mediocre, really fucking dumb people seem to have wisdom. Oh wow, now they're intelligent. Now they know what the fuck they're talking about. Well, you know what? I'm not mediocre. I'm not stupid. People are well aware of this. And I'm the one with the wisdom and understanding. Right? And I don't care if you've been in the hobby for 40 years and I've been in less. I have more experience with these games than you. So sit down. Right? That's how this works. I know more because I have done more. Now, it was my birthday yesterday. My audience was very forgiving that I was a little buzzed doing a stream, a shadow run. I hope that turned out okay. I hope you guys are satisfied with that, right? I thank you for forgiving me for that, right? Taking it easy. Tomorrow, we're going to do an off-script stream where it's going to be focused on the open topic of spaceships and the dice rolling systems for the old school games, many of the ones I've been talking about. So, because I don't always clarify the dice rolling systems for each game I'm covering, so I just want to make sure people are well aware of what they are. And the spaceships, it's a request. I've covered a couple different space games, the spaceships, and people are like, well, at least one person for sure was telling me, man, it'd be nice to cover all the different, the spaceships from different games, right? So I said, why not? Let's just openly talk about them. Now, off-script means I'm not coming with something to read out to you. I'll have a few notes, and then it will just open up, just an open dialogue. It will be fun like it always is. Okay, I had to vent a bit because some of this stuff with a certain portion of the audience and certain old school tabletop role-playing game YouTubers, how shallow and deceitful and two-faced that they are, it bothers me. It bothers me enough that I had to vent a bit. So thank you for letting me vent. I'll be posting something later today, something more interesting just about games, like as we do here. But I had to vent. I'm not targeting any individual person. Multiple people are like this, and it's a portion of the audience. I just had to get this off of my chest, out of my head, right? There, okay. So don't, look, I made it clear at the start who I'm not talking about in this video. So do not be offended if I'm not aiming it at you. And guess what? It doesn't hurt to call out some bullshit every so often, right? Because people are just flying by with BS and getting away with it. It doesn't hurt to call things out and set a higher standard. Put pressure on part of the audience and put pressure on certain YouTubers. There's no harm with putting some pressure, because pressure, that's where you can find the diamonds, baby. So a little bit of pressure doesn't hurt. It doesn't at all. Some things should be called out, right? Because nothing changes. Nothing gets better if nobody says anything. If everyone can skate by on nonsense, Nothing ever improves. And guess what? It should improve. It should improve here. You shouldn't be able to get on here and even call yourself a content creator most of the time if you can't even properly do content. You get on, you read pages out of a fucking book, you throw it down, you turn it off, and somehow you're more rewarded than someone who's making an effort, doing research, who has talent, and puts the time into this. If you can just outdo them with an audience, there's something wrong. That's not right, right? And things don't improve, and we don't attract better people to the old school as long as that is the trend that we are running into. That trend has to change. The audience should have a little bit of a higher expectation of people, and also with it, stop just needing to hear. They're not even entertained by the stuff. It's just that they nod along and they agree with it. That's why they give the views and likes. That is absolute nonsense. I know we're the old school, but we shouldn't be the old folks' home, which is what it can feel like here. Like every week, it's the same Wheel of Fortune game show. It is like the old folks' home, and it's absolutely embarrassing. This is YouTube, where you got content creators serving you, and people will bring talent here. We're not in the old folks' home, and not every viewer here, there's a minority, that aren't in their late 40s and 50s and 60s that act like they're in an old folks' home. The trend has to change, in my opinion. Anyway, there you go.